Welcome everybody to another edition of 5 Minute Adventures. Today we find ourselves in Victoria, British Columbia, the provincial capital of British Columbia. More specifically just outside, actually, in an area called Colwood. And we're right on the water here because we're going to be taking a look at Hatley Castle. Hatley Castle, it's just in front of me here. It's quite impressive. Let me turn the camera around so you can see it. This is Hatley Castle. Hatley Castle here was commissioned by James Dunsmuir back in the early 1900s. It was completed in 1908. It was designed by a Samuel McClure. He was commissioned to design the building. The landscapes all around it were done by a landscape artist from Boston that designed the grounds and all of the accompanying gardens. So we're going to take a walk around, take a look at some of the gardens, take a look at the building, and get to know a little bit more about it. We have the super old and impressive looking tree here. Here's another angle. So this building is made of local stone used to construct the outside. It's got oak and rosewood panel walls, teak floors. We're not going to be able to get into it today. It is closed for tours today, but I'll throw some pictures in here so you can see what the inside of it looks like. Especially designed light fixtures inside. Basically, when James Dunsmuir commissioned this, he essentially wrote a blank check and said, just make exactly what it is I want you to make. The building itself is 200 feet long, 86 feet wide. The turret up at the top there is 82 feet tall. At one time, inside it contained orchids that were imported from India, as well as a banana tree in the main entryway, and then tons of flowers throughout. So the property that this castle is sitting on at one time contained 10 kilometers worth of roads. It took roughly 100 men to tend to the gardens. It had several outbuildings. You can see on the map here there's a lot of different buildings. Most of the buildings that were here originally have been destroyed or demolished. Along the property here, they used to have a refrigeration plant, cow stables, a slaughterhouse, a smokehouse, 3 silos with 100-ton capacity in each, and a reserve water tank, as well as a full-blown Chinatown for the 80 to 120 workers that were working the gardens at any given time. But like I said, most everything has been bulldozed. So now there's only the main castle here that remains from back in the day. On the grounds here they have, I don't know how many wild peacocks. These would be the females right here. Males in the background, all underneath this bush along the grassway here. So in 1910, James Dunsmuir sold off all of his businesses, all of his acquisitions, everything else except for this. He sold it at the time for $11 million, which if you translated that into today's money, it's roughly $300 million. And he retired and lived happily here with his wife and daughter until he died May of 1920, 69 years old. His wife and daughter continued to live here until his wife Laura passed away in 1937, and their daughter just 6 months later, Eleanor. And the home here was purchased, was under care of a caretaker for a few years before it was sold in 1940 to the Dominion government for $75,000, where it then became a naval training base. As of the recording of this is January the 13th of 2025. So it's winter time, so the gardens don't look as good as they normally would in the spring and summer. But here's just a picture of them in their glory. Just here on the other side. So this continued to serve as a military training ground for Canadian troops until it became part of the Royal Roads University and the main building for the university in 1995. So over the years, this castle was used for all kinds of different films, including TV movie Generation X, Cypher with Lucy Liu in 2002, Reality of Love with Jason Priestley and Bradley Cooper in 2004. It was also used for The Clearing with Robert Redford, Willem Dafoe, and Helen Mirren, as well as Fierce People with Diane Lane, Donald Sutherland, Chris Evans, Kristen Stewart. Some other movies and notable people: Land of the Women with Adam Brody, Kristen Stewart, and Meg Ryan in 2007. The Boy That Cried Werewolf with Victoria Justice in 2010. As well as a few other movies, including Deadpool, Deadpool 2. If you look, you can see Cable actually walking down these steps. You can recognize that railing there. So this angle right here is what you see for Professor Charles Xavier in X-Men, X-Men 2, X-Men Origins. That was all filmed right here. Patrick Stewart actually filmed 3 movies here. Not only did he do the two X-Men movies at this location, but also Masterminds back in 1997. There's a picture of Ryan Reynolds in his Deadpool outfit, lying right in front here. It's a low shot like so, with him lying right there. Some notable TV series that use the castle as a bit of a backdrop include the original MacGyver series with Richard Dean Anderson, Poltergeist: The Legacy, The Mole, which was a reality game show that aired, Smallville, The Killing, Arrow, and Unreal. Some of those I have not watched, I fully admit that. So Hatley Castle is a real working home, as well as the main housing of the administration for the university here. The inside of the castle is accessible by tour only. They're just not open today to do that. The grounds, however, are free to walk around. They're open from 10 a.m. until dusk every day. So from here outside of Hatley Castle, this impressive 117-year-old building, I'm going to say thank you so much for joining me today on this 5-minute adventure, and I'll see you in the next one.